Welcome to the Along Podcast. I'm Sierra, a millennial.
And I'm Tracy, a baby boomer.
And on this show, we're not afraid to talk about age and how it changes things. Wellness, relationships, lifestyle, honestly, just everything in life. So come along because today we are talking about finding the one. Tracy, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've heard a lot of women in particular lately who have completely given up on this notion of finding the one. I have a couple of friends who are not that old. They're like in their mid to late 30s and they are over dating, specifically over dating men, but they're just over it. Now, granted, we live in Los Angeles, and I think anybody who lives in a big city automatically knows that it is difficult. There are a lot of options in the city, and so people don't always want to settle down. But most of my friends, they're just like, I'm okay if I never find a relationship. Sex, different story. They still want to have sex, but they're just not interested in actually trying to start anything with anyone. So I'm curious, has your opinion of dating changed over the years? And do you still believe in finding the one?
My opinion has definitely changed, like when I think of my 20s and 30s. And I think I'm an anomaly in a lot of ways, but I also have a lot of friends my age who are single, who've stayed single and no kids, who are pretty happy being that way. And you, after a certain point, age does come into this.
Okay.
So I did believe for a time, I think that I pretty much believe that there was one person. There'd be one person that would be the one. But I don't believe that now.
When did that stop for you?
Probably in my 40s.
Okay.
And there was one person that I was madly in love with, and he just didn't want to commit, the usual story. And it was sort of on again, off again. And after that, I kind of just decided, to fall out of love with him. And it worked because I didn't want to have my heart continually be broken. Mm-hmm. It was a very powerful moment, I have to say, because I finally said, I'm not doing this. I deserve better. So that was great. The downside is now at my age, but I feel young, but I know the reality. It's so different now.
So how did your approach to dating change when you made that decision that, you know what, forget about the one?
I don't know if I said forget about the one, but I wanted to forget about him.
Right. Okay.
After that, I think I was always open, knowing that there would be somebody, that once I made this shift, that there'd be somebody. But it's really been not, I don't know. I don't know if it's the more time you're on your own, the more freedom you have, the more you live life on your terms. I don't know. You get used to it.
Did you date a lot after you ended things with him?
Not really.
Yeah.
Before that, there was always some romance.
Yeah.
Always. Constantly the next one and the next one and the next one.
And
maybe I got it out of my system.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, did dating lose its appeal?
I think it did.
Yeah.
And then the online dating, I had a really bad online dating experience a while back. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that.
And it's funny because online dating is like the primary way that people date now. And I have mixed feelings about that. Mostly because I just feel like it's not a great way to meet someone.
It seems so contrived. And I know it's really kind of the only choice you have unless you want to go completely random.
Yeah. I mean, that's the primary way people are doing it. And especially a lot of people are not going out as much as they used to anymore. When you're walking about in general in life, most people are not talking to each other out in public unless they actually know you. So it is in general, I think, harder to find people overall. But I am curious more about this trend that it seems that women are starting to lean towards not even being interested in marriage, in the one, in what a lot of times we've been told the narrative of women is when they're out there in the dating world. And I think it's changing. And it's funny because you always say that you're kind of like, you know, the odd one out, or like you run on your different like path. But I think you might be on the same path of the trend now.
I love that.
I think maybe you're a trend setter.
You know, there are statistics about single women, and I think it's more in my age group, but the single women are happier than the married women. I mean, there's been lots of different studies.
I have some stats for you, actually.
Oh, okay.
So there was a 2023 Pew Research Center survey of 5,073 adults in the U.S. Of that, 48% of those women said that being married was not too or not at all important for fulfilling life, compared to 39% of men who said that. So women outranked men in the percentage of them that said that they're not really interested in being married in order to like fulfill their life. This was actually up for both of them. So in 2019, for the same study in the same sort of group, it was 31% of women versus 48% of women, and 28% of men versus 39% of men. So both of them went up, but women went up astronomically.
I wonder why that is.
Yes. Okay. So that was the difference between 2019 and 2023. There was another Pew study in 2022 of single adults. And it said that only 34% of single women were looking for romance, compared to 54% of single men were looking for romance. So men were looking for more romance than women in this 2022 study. Now, this is actually down in both regards again. So in a 2019 study, the same question, 38% of women were looking for romance instead of now 34, and 61% of men were looking for romance instead of now 54. So it's down overall, but again, women are dropping dramatically and are looking for less romance than men are.
You know, and I also think that it's the same for men over generations. I don't think men like being alone. I think it's not that, I'm not talking about independence and being able to function. I'm talking about men always needing to have someone, even if they're not the one. It always seems like that's sort of the way it's been.
I do think that women tend to take on a more caretaker role. And if you are the caretaker, you're probably pretty good at also taking care of yourself if it's just you and you're not taking care of anyone else. So I could see why that would be. It does make me wonder, though, like, what's happening here? Mm-hmm. Is it that women they have more choices, they don't need to depend on people as much because, you know, we are having, you know, better careers and we have all these opportunities now, and therefore those things aren't as important? Or is it that our options are getting shittier?
Are getting what?
Shittier.
Oh, you mean men options. I'm thinking of lifestyle options.
Or also just how we meet people.
Right.
Think of online dating. Think of how people act because of online dating. Online dating has really changed the game, because in a day where you can be on a date at a bar with someone or at dinner, and then your date goes to the bathroom, and then you can go on your phone and be looking at who's the next one you're going to go on to. Like, that just didn't happen as often back in the day before online dating. Even if you were kind of a player of like a guy and your date went to the bathroom, maybe you were hitting on the waitress, but you didn't have like 20 women to pick from right on your phone. And it's gamified. This whole like swipe right, swipe left sort of thing. It really does make it feel non-personal in a way.
I think you're right about that changing the game, that it's gamified. Because I'm thinking of, okay, it's easy to date online, but then take it to the next step, where now it's to the point where people don't want to commit because they have too many choices.
Right.
And when you can just swipe right, swipe left, when you can do that, and it's been a while now, this is the impact.
Yes. And I think it's having its influence on behavior as well. So like, because you have so many choices, then ghosting has become a really popular thing that people do. Like, people just are less likely to commit to a relationship right away. You got a lot of things like situationships that people find themselves in, where they've been dating someone for like 6 months to a year and they're still not in like a monogamous situation, which, not that monogamy is the answer for everyone, but a lot of people are looking for monogamy and just can't get someone to commit to it. And it's really kind of contributing in a lot of ways that I think doesn't really, what's appealing about it? To me, that does not seem appealing. And there was this video, I think I showed it to you. There was this video on TikTok of this like French guy who was like talking about dating women. And he was like, women don't care about men anymore. They don't care about being single. They're not interested in finding the one. She's already got her entire week planned. You are bothering her. You are bothering her.
Funny.
When you text her and you say, hey, what's up? She's like, I don't want to talk to you. You're annoying. It's true. I'd rather sit here with my dog and have my glass of wine and watch my trashy TV. And like, that's it.
It's kind of, in a way, it's kind of how I feel.
So true. It's like, what are you adding?
Yeah, what are you adding? I mean, I always say, you know, I have my place, have my condo. I don't want it. There's no way I want to share my place with someone.
You don't want a dirty man in your house.
No, I just
Kidding.
But I think it's true, though. I think a lot of women are feeling that way. You know, Sierra, recently I saw on Instagram, TikTok, one or the other, this guy, a youngish guy, probably late 30s, saying, I have no interest at all in any woman anymore. I am sick of it. I don't want to be around people. It was the funniest thing, but he was really saying people. He just was like, I'm done. And he was a good looking guy. He's like,
Funny.
I'm so done with all of it. Is that how we're feeling? I mean, are people feeling that too?
Yeah.
That we're kind of sick of people? You know, there are a lot of people on the planet now. A lot more than when I was your age. I
It's true.
notice it.
It's true. Well, we also live in a city, so we probably tend to see it a little bit more. But yeah, I do think people in general are just sick of people's behavior.
I think that's what it is.
And like, people are just not considerate anymore. I do wonder sometimes, like chivalry really seems gone. It's very rare that I see a man that does like the classic things of like open a girl's door, like to get in a car, or pull out her seat at a restaurant. Like, those little gestures have left the building.
And I do love chivalry.
And what are the new gestures? Like, how do you even
Yeah.
know when someone's into you? What is the new gesture?
That's a good question.
I don't know. Greg, do you have an opinion what the gesture is? He just rolled his eyes
A
at
lot
me.
to unpack here.
I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, chivalry's dead and feminism killed it.
Oh,
Okay. Do you really think that, though?
I mean, I'm half joking, but I think it's sort of the rise in, like, you know, if you just look historically in the past few decades, women in the workplace becoming more career focused instead of family focused. Like, yeah, of course because like, think about the traditional stereotype was like these high powered men who just want to run through girls and they don't want to commit and they do whatever because they're just focused on their job and making money. And it's like, now women are in that same boat where they're just like, I just want to focus on my career, make my money. I don't have time for you. Whereas like before, they felt like society was telling them your purpose is to like raise a family, be a mom. Mm-hmm. And like, there's like a blueprint for this, you know? And so now that it's like both genders are sort of kind of chasing the same thing, I think you know, they're just similar lifestyles. And then you might be right. We might just be getting sick of people.
You know, I just think like a Saturday Night Live sketch for something like this where both men and women are going, I'm sick of you. Well, we're sick of you too. I mean, and people are just sick of people. I always say this and I don't really mean it, but I go, I just hate people. And people always laugh because I mean it. I hate rude people.
I know.
But when I say that, it always gets a laugh.
Because it's true. I think we all have those moments where we're just like, society can be real pigs sometimes. And I don't just mean the men. I mean the women and the they-thems as well. Like,
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, at the end of the day, I get it that feminism has really changed the game, right? It changed what the game was supposed to be that we all grew up with, and I think for the better. But it does make me wonder through all of this, like, is it possible to have a relationship dynamic that kind of has a more equal playing field when it comes to men and women? I really question sometimes whether we are able to kind of break those cultural norms truly. Because as much as I have to say, as much as like I am a feminist, I also, there are some things that I don't want to do. I want the guy to do that. I don't want to be treated like a guy. I just want to be treated like an equal person, but I don't want to be treated like the guy. I don't want to have to like do the manly things.
Exactly.
So like I'm a feminist and I'm pro like all like you go do whatever you want to do. If you want to raise a family, go raise your family. If you want to go have a job, go have your job. Don't make me go do the manly things. I don't want to do that.
I mean, I'd like, to have someone help with the stuff around the house.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, that's what they are. That's what they're good for. No, not the only thing. I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what the other thing is.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know because I'm closed for business for the time being. I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but
I do think part of it though, and when I think of like my friends who have kind of given up on finding the one, part of it comes down to too is when we say the one, we think of like the person that has like it all of that we're looking for. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think that idea of the one exists for anybody. Mm-mm. I think you have to make some sort of compromise in your life of what a relationship realistically looks like. Because you're not going to find someone that checks all of the boxes. I just don't believe that exists. I think people are flawed.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, well, we should talk about what we mean by the one.
Yeah.
What does that mean? To me, when I thought of the one, it was a connection that goes beyond. It's like a combination of best friend and you're totally attracted to them.
Yep.
And that it's just a connection. It's something that's hard to explain. But then does that last? Does that feeling, the one, when you find the one, does it really last? Is that really what you're finding? And for some people, I mean, I have friends that have been married for decades and are still madly in love. That's a rarity, but it's true. It does happen.
So I think that is a great way to look at the one. I think there are also a lot of people, though, that look at it as, I have that connection with them, but they also have a good job and they also come from this type of family and there's all of these little additives
right.
that get added on. And before you know it, you've really kind of started to narrow down what your options are there. Because if you're so stuck on all of these little things of like, oh, he has to come from this type of family and I want him to be 6 foot or above and I want him to be this, and this, like, then you start to really restrict yourself. And so, yeah, I do think if your idea of the one is just the person that you have a connection with, and realistically, a successful relationship is not about it being perfect. It's about finding someone that's willing to put in the work as well.
Right.
And is willing to do the dance with you. That is a broader pool to reach out of, as opposed to all of these other stipulations that you have to add in. Now, not everybody is ready for that, though. Like, sometimes you can find someone that you have a great connection with, but they're just not ready to be the person to do that dance with you and do the work that it takes to be in a relationship.
And then they're probably not the one then.
Not yet, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird concept. And now you got them. Well, at least the Gen Zers say my person. I found my person instead of the one. It's the same. They mean the same thing. It's just different.
Is that a new term?
Well, that's what my niece and nephew say. I found my person.
Well, do you know where that came from?
No.
It comes from Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
That was a millennial thing.
It's always from some pop culture thing.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. Okay, so it's been around for a while.
But I do think like it's probably the same if they're using it in relation to like instead of saying the one. That makes sense.
I like my person.
Yeah. It's also gender nonconforming.
Yeah. Well, the one is too.
That's true. It is.
But I don't know. The question is good. Is it possible? Does it exist? Or is it something else? And is it even, what does that even mean? You know, like you said, it's different things.
Yeah. I think for me, the one is very similar to what you said. It's somebody who gets you.
Yes.
It's somebody who, look, they're not going to be perfect. And they're not going to be somebody that is always going to get you, first of all. They're going to make mistakes. But I think the person who is the one genuinely loves you and has your best interest at heart. And also you guys just have a little spark or connection that really makes you want to go to them for things.
Yeah, that's well put.
Yeah.
And if you have the humor, if you laugh about things, to me, that's so important.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of relationships out there that people look at and they think that they have it all, especially with the advent of social media, right? And they can look at what an ideal relationship looks like, that they go on all these trips together and they post all these photos of each other and all this sort of stuff. But that's all for show. And you really never know what someone's relationship is like behind closed doors. And I think it would shock a lot of people to know that sometimes the best relationships are the ones that are kind of the most boring, that they're not like, there's not all these like grand romantic gestures. It's a lot of nights home on the couch of just like sitting in silence together doing other things, but like still having a connection. They're not these like big fairy tale romances sometimes, which I think especially in our 20s, we kind of expect a lot of that. We expect the grand gestures. We expect somebody to check all of these boxes. And at least for me, what's interesting is that as I've gotten older, I don't have as many boxes that I'm asking for someone to check. It's like some really basic things, be a good person, care about me, and like love me, and then like, want to try. It's really not that hard, but seemingly it is really hard to find.
I just think it is interesting, like you said, women are just saying, I don't want to do any of that anymore.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that, I think, is because such a big part of this is timing. Someone can be a good person. They're just not ready to commit to a relationship like that. And I think that's half the battle. You can find a ton of people that you have a connection with. Now, whether that person also feels that same connection and whether they're also ready to make a commitment, totally different story. And life is hard. Half the battle of being in a long-term relationship is sticking around when shit hits the fan.
Yeah, exactly.
When there's deaths in the family, when someone loses a job, when, major health issues, like that will break someone. Those really basic things will break an individual and can break a relationship if you don't have a good foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not an easy thing. Like finding the one isn't this magical thing that then suddenly the relationship is going to be perfect. Like there's one thing I've learned from society is that love is not enough. It is just not. You can hope and pray that it is, but it is not. It's hard work. It's the desire to stay in love that really makes a relationship work at the end of the day, not just the fact that you already have it.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, because Greg, do you think that men think about the one as often as women do?
No. Probably
Good
not.
answer.
Probably not. I mean, because, as the philosopher Sagittarius.
Exactly.
I've contemplated that sort of thing. Is there the one? Like, I felt like I was a hopeless romantic as a teenager and would write songs on the guitar for girls and stuff. It was very cringe. I cringed thinking back.
Why? I think that's cute.
That's so nice.
I mean, it's, you just end up getting walked all over. Like, life then beats you down. The thing is, like, it's whatever. It's sweet. Like, it worked in some cases, but.
Are you saying that women just,
No, the women, it's
they
that
kind of
classic.
dismissed you?
The women want to date the asshole.
Yeah.
You know, or and then you come to realize it's not really so much about that. It's about like people want to feel like they're reaching up a little bit to get like something's hard. So if you're kind of too available and too whatever, then it felt like it's not a challenge. And so maybe this isn't worth my time and I can get somebody better. Like, why is this person so into me? You know, it's like our psychology's, it's insane anyone ends up together at all. And so, you know, whatever, you get older, you figure it out.
Do you think that changes? Like, I feel like there's a time period where men are like, sow your seed or whatever it is.
Yeah, sow your oats.
Yeah, sow your oats.
Yeah, I've always felt like there's a movie called Definitely Maybe, great film, Ryan Reynolds and some people.
Some other people. Not really sure.
I think it's with Isla Fisher. There's a scene with Ryan Reynolds, Isla Fisher. They're having a conversation about the one. And they're like, do you believe in the one? Or do you think it's just you reach a certain point in your life and whoever you're with at that point becomes the one because you're now ready for it?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's probably more along the lines with that. Like, I don't know. Obviously, lightning could strike at any time and you just meet someone that you're like, oh my God, like we have such a connection. But I think that also sometimes happens and then it just flames out because neither person is like emotionally mature enough or just at a place in their life where they were ready for that. And so they have this like passionate love affair and then it lasts, 9 months and then it's done. And then it's done. Whereas like, yeah, you get to a point where you're kind of like, okay, I've been around the block enough times. It would be nice to have someone, consistent and that you can really share a life with. And then it becomes this whole, because dating it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but it can get really lonely, and I think that's what people are looking for is like, okay, I want someone I can share a life with.
Yeah.
And once you reach that point, then you can find the one. But yeah, I don't necessarily subscribe to the like soulmate type of where it's like one person who's meant for you,
Yeah. But I think what's happening is that people are getting so exhausted in this process of finding someone who they can share a life with that they're like, forget it. Like my life is way less stressful if I don't have to deal with it. And I will say, as someone I identify as bisexual, but the kids today would call me pansexual. And as someone who's dated across the gender spectrum, like it does not change in that regard. Like to your point, Tracy, like people are people and shitty people who are not ready for relationships will still be shitty people who are not ready for relationships.
Yeah. It
doesn't matter if it's male, female, they, them, doesn't matter. It's where they're at and when they're ready to pull the trigger. It's unfortunate that it's so down to timing.
And I guess that hasn't changed really. I mean, the human condition in a lot of ways remains the same. Mm-hmm. I think it's changed now because of the dating, the amount of dating you can do.
Yes.
With your fingertips.
Yep. And I think that's why a lot of people still aren't ready.
Out.
Yeah. I do think also you have to really work on yourself to find the one. Greg and I have a mutual friend who she really wants to be in a relationship. And I feel like it always comes down to like, she goes on dates, but she's like, but why is it not working out? And it's like, you've got to build your garden. Mm-hmm. Build your garden and a butterfly will fly in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's actually a famous quote. And I did look this up because I was like, where did I hear this before? And the quote itself is, don't waste your time chasing butterflies, mend your garden, and the butterflies will come.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And it comes from some philosopher or poet or whatever.
It's like, put out the sugar water and the hummingbirds will come.
Yep. And I think like at the end of the day, you have to know yourself really, really well in order to be ready for that person to come in. Because nobody wants to deal with messy you.
Exactly.
All the time, at least. Sometimes you're allowed to be messy, but you got to kind of get to know yourself and really know what you want in order to like be satisfied with the person in front of you, They
say you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are.
Yeah, I love that.
Like you're
so true.
The energy you're putting out there is what's going to come back to you. And so if your strategy for dating is, well, I'm going to like date 4 guys right now and have like these like hookup buddies and whatever. But what I really want is a relationship. It's like, maybe not the best strategy,
Yeah.
maybe not the best strategy, because everything you're doing, your body, like everything is saying something completely opposite from what you're saying that you want,
Yeah.
You're not living the life that,
Yeah.
in accordance with what you say you want. So, but, everybody has to do what's right for them at the end of the day anyway.
Well, also, I mean, I think that also applies when people are like, have a whole laundry list of what they're looking for in the one. Like, oh, I want them to be like really successful and really driven at work. And then also this and this. And it's like, well, are you those things? Because somebody like that is probably going to be attracted to someone else who is also like that. And
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
people don't really turn the finger on themselves enough and like ask the question, like, am I putting myself in a situation where I'm putting out that energy to attract that person? Am I the type of person they would want? And if that's the type of life that you want, then you got to kind of work towards building that person for yourself, and then you will attract that person. And it's not a quick solution. And I think a lot of people get lonely and they just want somebody there, and it's easier to do the dating apps and kind of just fill your time. But I don't know. I think if you are really interested in the one, then you have to do the work yourself.
You have to be the one.
You have to be the one for
Yeah.
someone else. And that takes work. It probably does not come from just dating a bunch of people on a dating app. Probably comes from taking some time off of the dating apps and really focusing.
I think you're right.
So have I inspired you to get back in the dating world?
I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely thinking about it.
Oh, okay. We'll have to set you up with some people.
it's maybe I just like my life the way it is.
I think a lot of people do. But that doesn't mean it can't be.
But I'm open to, though. I'm not,
Being open to it is key, because I think you can like the way your life is, but also want to share it with someone or want to open it up for at least the possibility of that.
Well, I'll get back to you after I go to this fabulous wedding. I'm going
Maybe you'll
to.
find someone at the wedding.
Those are probably good places.
That
This
is a
going to be
great
fun.
place.
I'm always game to do the things like that and
Yeah.
say, okay, just go out there, put yourself out there.
Nothing like a wedding where everybody's feeling vulnerable.
Yeah.
Romantic and sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, here's hoping you will have more to report when you come back from this wedding.
Thank you, Sierra.
And make your pretty garden. A butterfly will fly in.
I love that. Love that saying.
All right. Well, thank you for coming along with us today. If you want more, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Along Podcast, and give us a follow wherever you're watching or listening today.
Bye.
Bye.